Welcome. This is Leah Bales with Creating Sanctuary in the Midst of Chaos. As I'm recording this, we are beginning the third week of sheltering in place, of voluntarily isolating ourselves, in my case, with one of my grown daughters and her husband, my husband and my mom. And all around the world, we are in this situation of dealing with the unprecedented global pandemic, unprecedented at least in my life, and I believe the life of anyone else on the planet, that the entire planet is dealing with this very changeable, this turmoil, the uncertain times of the COVID virus 19. I guess actually it's COVID-19 or novel coronavirus. And as we do, these times call for something special in us. We're living, most of us choosing to live differently than we ever have so that we can stay safe and so we can help the world stay safe. And in our natural inclination to connect and to be with each other for support, right now we're not able to do that. And so we are, most of us, much more isolated, and it becomes even more important that we connect like this. So thank you so much for joining me. That we connect like this and we use our technology that is so amazing, but that sometimes gets used kind of, I think, superficially, and that we now use it in very profound ways to gather with each other, to connect with each other, to remember how connected we all are, to offer support and resources. So I'm learning more about how to use technology in this way, and I'm learning more about what it is that I feel called to give at this time and how I can offer that. And as I was thinking about a week and a half ago, as I was in prayer and meditation, what is mine to offer now? How can I serve? What's next? I remembered a class that I had given right after 9/11, 2001, and it was Creating Sanctuary in the Midst of Chaos. And I've given that class at workshops and conferences different times, and it feels especially important to me now. So it's not the same class. It's a class that's evolving as my own understanding of what I need and the people around me and perhaps the world can use right now. So each day will have a different focus. And it actually started as Facebook Live and then had some weird technical stuff. And so I've taken it to a recorded Zoom platform, and it will be available many, many places. Each day will have a different focus. I thought we'd do 5 days, and it's grown into more than that. But each day will have a different focus. Each day will be about 20, maybe 30 minutes. Today, we're going to talk about why sanctuary matters, why I believe it matters right now more than ever. What sanctuary means, what's the meaning of the word originally, and what it's evolved to, and why we need that sanctuary in ourselves, in our relationships, in our homes, and in our lives. So let's just pause just a moment to let yourself fully arrive and to feel for yourself the word sanctuary. What does that feel like to you? What does that mean to you? And then to feel the words creating sanctuary. What right now does that mean to you to think of creating sanctuary? Let's notice what comes up. Creating sanctuary in the midst of chaos. No matter what's going on around us, no matter what's happening in the news and around the world, we each have the opportunity, the ability to create sanctuary, and I believe even the responsibility, the ability to respond by creating sanctuary. And sanctuary to me is not something that means we hide away and we are trying to completely close in, but sanctuary is a way we drop in to a deep inner place of safety and well-being so that we can be reset and renourished and replenished so that we can be our best selves, make our best decisions, be our most creative, and bring our best gifts to the world in whatever way is called right then. So originally, the word sanctuary meant a holy place, a sacred place, a sanctified place. And in early religions all over the world, of all different types of religions, sanctuaries were usually outdoor gathering places or places to go individually. They were groves of trees. They were little areas, sometimes caves, where people went either alone to find sanctuary or to gather with others to create sacred space. Sacred space being away from the daily busyness, the activities, the commerce of life, to be able to come into sacredness, into holiness. Sanctuary has evolved to also mean a place of safety, a refuge, a haven. So we talk about people finding sanctuary and political asylum. We naturally seek safety. We naturally seek sanctuary. And both of these types, I believe, the finding sacred space, creating sacred space, and creating safety, refuge, haven, I think are so very important always, and especially right now. So I'll be using them kind of interchangeably and sometimes talking more about feeling safe psychologically, letting our nervous system find sanctuary so it can be safe and calm and function well as creating that place where our souls are most at home, a place where we can turn away from the busyness, the doing, the commerce, the concerns of the everyday secular life and come into sacredness. We need this. We need both of these deeply. I believe whatever our spiritual path, religious path, whether we have one or we have none, I believe it's really important that we create sacredness, that we get involved in the busyness, the business, the activities, the news of the world, and that we also have ways to remember something bigger, something that in your own way of thinking, your own particular belief system is eternal, is everlasting, is not as ephemeral as the busyness of the daily life. So most times in human history, people have had ways that they came into that. They came into, sometimes it was called temenos. The Greek word is temenos, creating that sacred space. And it can be both a place we come into of temenos and also a way of being in ourselves, where our souls are home, where we feel connected to that essence in ourselves, and that essence that is beyond just the dailiness of life. It's also so important that we know how to feel safe. Our nervous systems don't do well when they constantly feel on guard, when they constantly feel that there is that sense of danger and we're hypervigilant. We all probably know that place. And right now, and many times in our lives, listening to the news can set off that hypervigilance. We can have that sense that there is danger all around. I'm going to check just a moment. Yes, sorry, to make sure my microphone was working. Sorry about that. And that little alert and that little part of my nervous system that was on alert that's like, what if your mic's not working? I need to check it. So the nervous system gets on red alert when there is too much thought, too much connection with all the danger going around. A certain amount of that is good for us. And we need to know how to soothe our nervous system, to psychologically, emotionally be calmed and soothed, because then when we're in that place where we can find that refuge for our nervous system, we can find that place where we can calm down physically, emotionally, spiritually, we become more creative. Our brains work better. Our brains don't work better when we're in that high alert anxiety state. We're kind of thriving on adrenaline or other stress hormones. People often feel like they're doing really well with that because it's kind of pumps you up, but you don't think as well. You don't make the best decisions. So especially in times when there's a lot going on, you need to be able to calm your nervous system down. So finding that safety, that in our bodies, and also having a place in our homes, in our lives that really feels safe. So we'll be talking about how to create sanctuary in our bodies, in our hearts, in our souls. We'll be talking about how to create sanctuary in our homes. What makes your home feel like a sanctuary, or at least part of your home feel like a sanctuary? How to create sanctuary in our workplaces. For lots of us, our workplaces right now are our homes. We have a part of our home that is our workspace. How can we be doing work and have it have that sense of sanctuary so that we're nourished and rejuvenated by being there? We'll talk about how relationships can be sanctuary, how we can create the sort of relationships with the people we're living with and also the people we're connecting with like this, where we become sanctuary for each other, where the relationship itself is a sacred container, a safe place, a refuge, a haven. We'll be talking about habits. I've been thinking a lot about habits and even discipline, positive discipline, creative discipline, and how our habits can either be a really positive refuge or a negative refuge, a way that we're trying to create safety that isn't working very well, that's maybe even destructive. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about what activities you can do regularly that you can take with you that help you create sanctuary on the go. And we'll be talking about silence as sanctuary and about finding your own way of creating sanctuary. There isn't one set way that we do it. It depends on what you notice, what you feel, what you love, what brings you home to yourself and allows you to feel safe. We're all looking for sanctuary. We're all wanting it, both in the sacred sense and in the safety sense. And if we're not doing it consciously and positively, I'm noticing we're often doing it in a destructive way. So how can we create sacredness? How can we create safety, haven, refuge in ways that allow us to come through this time period and whatever experience, whatever chaos you may have in your life, and come through it having grown, having learned, having expanded, becoming better, becoming more fully who we are because we've taken time and created sanctuary. So often, I think it's important to remember that the most simple things can be the most powerful. The most simple practices can be the most powerful. And I'm just going to show you 3 that I love that you can start practicing today. And the very first is to begin to take sanctuary in your breath. You're always breathing. I'm always breathing all day, all night, all through your life. From the moment you were born until you leave this life, you are breathing. And yet, often we're not aware of the breath. So it's not a matter of needing to force the breath. In fact, that usually gets in the way. It's not a matter of needing to have fancy breathing techniques. It's finding your breath, coming home to your breath. So right now, and one of the things that keeps us from coming home to the breath, keeps us separated from the refuge of the breath, is tension, anxiety, mental tension, tension in your body. So just notice right now any part of your body that feels a little tight and start moving it around, wiggle your shoulders, take a big yawn, oh, big uninhibited yawn, stretch out, and exhale down, shake out a little bit, and bring yourself right here and now and feel your breath. Take a refuge in your breath. So you might even close your eyes. You might feel your feet on the floor, feel your body in the chair. Just let any tension drain away and just feel yourself taking refuge in that easy flow of your breath. If it doesn't feel good to have your eyes open, just have them soft, or it doesn't feel good to have them closed, just have them softly open and feel the easy rhythm of your breath flowing in and flowing out. And each time as you breathe in, you might think breathing in, and breathing out, you might think letting go, letting tension drain away from your body so that you're more fully available to your breath. And then we can add to that simple letting go breath, a very simple, very powerful, almost magical thing that you do with your hands. And I actually call this adult thumb sucking because it has much the same effect on your nervous system that a child does when she or he sucks their thumb. So, you know how a child can go from being like really distraught and total chaos into bliss in just a few seconds by sucking on their thumb. So we're not going to suck on the thumb, but we can if you want. I won't see, but most adults would feel silly doing that. But what you can do that has a lot of the same effect on the brain and that is a very great calming for the nervous system is adult thumb sucking. So one hand, the thumb extends, the other hand wraps around just like it's a bicycle bar. And then the finger, the forefinger of the second hand, you extend and you wrap the fingers of the first hand around. So let me show it to you again. One hand, it doesn't matter what you do. Thumb extends, fingers wrap around, extend the forefinger, wrap the fingers around, and now you're not squeezing hard. It's light. It's like you're holding onto a baby kitten or, you know, a little bird, just something very, very soft. And then place your hands in your lap. And if it's comfortable, again, you can close your eyes. And as you just let your shoulders relax again, and as you breathe in, just gently, lightly squeeze your thumb and forefinger. And as you breathe out, just gently, lightly release. And again, very slow, easy breath, slow, light movement, squeezing your thumb and forefinger as you breathe in. Exhale, just let the thumb and forefinger release. You're still in that, you're cradling the thumb and the forefinger, but they don't need to be, so you're not letting them go, but you just gently squeeze and release. And if it's comfortable, just doing another time or two. Lightly squeezing, lightly releasing. And then just notice, feeling again your breath, feeling that tension releasing on the exhale. Just take a few moments to notice if that feels good. And it gets easier and easier the more you practice it. Just let it be easy and enjoyable. And then you can either keep your eyes closed or if you'd like to open your eyes. That very simple movement can work magic on pain and tension. I actually knew it. There was a gentleman in one of my classes I taught at a hospital for people with chronic pain who had had neck and had, tension in his neck, at shoulders and head for years. And he said the very first time he did that, it went away. Not permanently, but for a little bit. Now, if it can go away for a little bit the first time, the more you play with it, the more powerful, the more effective it can be. I had people who were in migraines that the tension released enough that their migraine considerably eased. So great thing to do. You can do it anywhere, anytime, and it will help you find refuge in your breath, help your nervous system calm right down. So that's two things: finding your breath, letting go breath, letting tension go, and then adding the adult thumb sucking, that simple hand position to it. The third thing I'd love to leave you with today to play with is finding sanctuary in words. So all cultures, all traditions have words, prayers, poems, blessings that help us come into that sacred place, into that safety, into that feeling of connection in ourselves and in the bigger picture with our higher self, however we want to think of that, with the oneness of the world. So you might think for a moment about a simple poem that you love that makes you feel good in yourself. Doesn't have to be from a faith or religious tradition, or a blessing, or a prayer, or even a very few simple words. Needs to be something that when you hear it, you think, ah, I've got a home in that. Ah, that helps me come home. That opens you to that feeling of sanctuary. And I'd like to share one of mine, one of my favorites for years. It's borrowed, I believe, from the Buddhist tradition. I heard it in a workshop many years ago, and I've used it a lot and loved it. I'm going to take just a sip of water. So I'm going to bring my hands to my heart. You can do that if you'd like, or have them wherever you want. And I'm going to say this blessing 2 times. May we be at peace. May our hearts remain open. May we each know the beauty of our own true nature. May we be healed, and may we become a source of healing for all the world. May we be at peace. May our hearts remain open. May we each know the beauty of our own true nature. May we be healed, and may we become a source of healing for all the world. Thank you so much for joining me. I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a comment, send me a note, and may you create sanctuary wherever you go in the right way for you, and may you find sacred space. May you find safety, may you find refuge so that you can bring your best to the world. Thank you.